Three, two, one. Yo! Wait. That wasn't it. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to Minds Behind the Music. I am your host, LA. Here with me is my lovely co host, Greg. Today,
So,
we are going to talk about something that has been affecting all of us recently in the entertainment industry. And it's been affecting us for quite a long time. And what I'm talking about is this pandemic, or the quarantine to be exact. Now, as all of us know, the coronavirus has affected the world in such a really grand global scale that, a lot of big things in the entertainment industry, and both in music and in movies, but most and even on Broadway, everything's been kind of put to a halt because of this pandemic. And a lot of it has to do with, the big social gatherings. You can't have too many of those people, so therefore you can't have like big concerts or gigs in areas where a lot of people would gather to see musicians or just performers play. And it has a lot of effect on those performers and musicians and just people holding those events. But what do you got to say about it, Greg?
um, yeah, I mean, when it came down to me being in the field, we were the first ones to go. Entertainment industry was really much the first one to go. It
Mm-hmm.
was considered non-essential, so I mean, I can pretty much understand it. But in essence, it is pretty much essential because without entertainment, there is no culture. So
Yeah.
but when it came down to all the jobs that were lost, man, like even me, man, like I'm glad that I'm doing Red Sings the Blues, and that's my podcast that's outside of this. But
Mm-hmm.
it was not easy building that from scratch, and I mean, but that just came because if I can't put on a show outside, I might as well just do one inside. So that's kind of what I did. That's just how you got to think as an artist. You got to think ahead. Before I mean, not a lot of people thought ahead because people were getting money, people were retiring early and stuff like that. So I mean, when you're getting money, you're pretty. When you're at a job, you're like pretty comfortable. But I mean, comfortability now is kind of wishy washy because you. I mean, when I was working, it was job today, gone tomorrow. Somebody replaced you. So, I mean, the job was done, stuff like that. So you
Yeah.
know, it's more or less that. So I was working on certain things by myself. I was working in different avenues. So you know, when it comes down to it, when I think about it, I think me honestly, it's affected me a lot. I was supposed to get a few promotions at certain audio places. I was supposed to go tour with a grouper, and it didn't happen. So it's whatever. I mean, but I mean, I'm doing my own podcast, so you know what I'm saying. It works. It
Yeah.
worked out pretty well for me because in about a few months, the podcast is almost close to 1,000 subscribers. So that's pretty good on my end. So I was able to create something out of nothing.
Yeah, no, you're another fine example of what happened. I mean, it's affected not it's affected everybody that works in your field. And I think I also do stuff similar to you in your field. Like I had two internships. I was interning at a studio in New York City, and I was going to intern at this one place near where I live, but because the pandemic was such a sudden it was such a sudden thing, and people didn't know how to handle it. We didn't People, at least in our area, we didn't know what we were going to do first. Like, we should just close everything down. And just stay home for a while or like not leave your house as often. So it's just kind of threw everything out of whack. Like even people at that worked at regular places had to either file for unemployment or work from home if need be. And I was not so fortunate in that situation. I had to just stop my internship. I had to stop my internships completely, and I was still going to school at the time, so I had to leave. I was living in a dorm, so I had to leave and I had to start going taking classes online. All of my courses that I had to take were all courses I took online, or all courses that had to get moved to online. So we did it was mostly WebEx calls and it was Zoom calls, much like what we're using for here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it took a lot. It took a lot out of me, and it was a big effect on what I was doing currently. And I know you and I are not the only ones that it affected in the entertainment industry. And sad to say, I've noticed a lot. I feel for a lot of the Broadway people because that was a huge part of their income, like performing and holding Broadway shows. Broadway is closed till like the next year,
Yeah.
and I don't even know when it'll open back up.
Yeah,
We,
that's the worry for most people, including me, because
hmm
most theaters are not coming back. They're not really gonna
yeah,
show up anymore because a lot of them are going out of business, as I heard from a certain people. So like people are a lot of theaters are being shut down. A lot of theaters are not opening up anymore. Probably next year, if I mean, also like a lot of theaters are patron basis, right?
yeah,
So that means if you are a part of the theater, right, you are paying money a month or somewhere around there, right? And you are actually going to be like you're a patron for that theater, right? So I mean, for certain theaters I was a patron basis, but I canceled them, right?
hmm
Because some of them are nonprofits, a lot of them are corporate. uh Broadway is pretty much corporate, they don't really do patron basis, right?
yeah. It's
But the Met is I mean, the Met just moved over from patron base to corporate, so because of the IATSE union. So I mean,
yeah,
they put a lot of
it's
people out of work there too. So
hmm
everyone's going on strike nowadays because
yeah,
there was a union there was a union article I was reading that a lot of union people were going on strike because a lot of theaters were laying them off. These are people that worked in those are like veteran stagehands and electricians and stuff like that. So I mean, you're putting your I mean you're putting all your eggs in one basket, and it kind of taught us as artists, don't put your eggs in one basket
hmm
because you don't know what's going to happen with this job. And that's kind of what I learned, like as a freelancer, don't put your eggs in one basket at one place because you don't know if you're going to lose your job tomorrow. You can lose your insurance. I don't have
yeah,
insurance now, so I mean, I'm paying
yeah,
out the butt, and I don't even have. And we don't know what's gonna happen. So
yeah,
like shortest end of the stick, man. Like this generation got the really. I mean that's another topic for another day. But we got the really shortest end of the stick. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Because I can't really name a particular event that was similar to this from Gen X or the millennials or the boomers. I can't name any sort of situation that caused this. A lot of a lot of the musicians had all these big tours planned. I mean, Judas Priest was going to have a tour. They were touring and they were going to have Sabaton open for them. Genesis was reuniting. They were going to have a tour. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I was supposed to actually see Megadeth in concert because they had a new tour announced because Dave Mustaine just beat cancer and they had a new tour planned. I was supposed to go see them. That got canceled, or no, that got postponed to 2021. Ozzy Osbourne was supposed to have a tour, but I think he canceled his tour because his health was declining, but at the same time, it wouldn't have made a difference. I mean, it makes a difference to him because he's not doing well, and I know that's a really big problem on his end. But what I mean is, it wouldn't like had he have not canceled because of his health, it would have been because of the pandemic. So, and I would think in Ozzy's case, he would be more high risk because as most people know, he has Parkinson's now, and it's definitely been a big effect, not just in canceling stuff and putting people out of work. Like I know a lot of famous musicians and performers and like Broadway actors have gotten it and died. John Prine, the famous folk country singer and producer, he just won a Lifetime Achievement Grammy this year, and he died in March from the coronavirus. And Nick Cordero, the Broadway actor, he died from the virus, and that's definitely that's definitely put this into perspective. And my heart goes out to their families, obviously, because they were th- I know their loved ones must have been hard on them, and my heart goes out to them. But it definitely puts things into perspective. I see what you mean by, how it's affecting us, like it's putting a lot of the people in the entertainment industry out of work, and it's especially for the Broadway actors and singers and dancers, like they definitely needed that for a source of income. But I also agree with you. There always has to be a plan B. You can't put all your eggs into one basket. You have to have a backup plan. And I think that just goes with the music industry. Even if you, even if this pandemic wasn't happening, you need to have a backup plan. Which goes on to my next topic, being how do we handle this? How do we handle being in this situation? For one, I would say just don't stop doing what you believe in. Don't stop getting into this industry. Don't stop doing what you love, more or less. Make sure that, you have sources and outlets that you can showcase, cuz I know people have been doing, online shows, online streams. They've been putting it on websites, they've been they've been putting it on websites for people to pay to see. They've been putting it on social media platforms. They've been putting it on websites like YouTube, just as, a means to still perform and make income as a musician. And I know a lot of artists have been releasing music this year. I for one actually just released a new song. I released a new song for by my band. It's called Everyone Wants to Be a Hero. It came out today. It's actually out now on Spotify, Apple Music, and you could even find it on here. And there's a little sound clip that I have added to TikTok that has this song, and it's just everywhere. Definitely check it out. And I know your band's releasing music too, right?
Yeah.
And I just finished releasing an EP. It was called Take One. That's been out for a few months, and it's just that's my one message is just don't stop doing what you love. And another source that could keep you motivated is look at what the musicians that you look up to are doing now. How are they maintaining their lives? How are they like doing? See what they're doing and see how it would inspire you to make it through the pandemic, because that's another way to stay motivated and figure out like, hey, maybe I could do something like this. But see what they're doing on social media and see how it can affect you and how it can affect them as well. Like if you have a cover, like if you want to perform and post it online. You could put it on any social media platform. I can't guarantee it will go viral, but it'll keep people in the loop of listening to your music, and people keep people interested in wanting to listen to your music as well. Definitely build a presence for yourself online. Like I know what Greg just said, he has his own podcast and he's getting pretty big with that, and I'm just starting out this podcast and just keeping you guys in the loop of things. Definitely that there's the possibilities are endless basically. And there there's so many ideas you can do with it. That's it's not always one field or the other. Sometimes sometimes you could pick up a new hobby or a new way a new way of working, because like yeah, you could be a singer and songwriter, but maybe there's another way, that another outlet in which it could help you do that and help other musicians do that as well, and kind of create a system. But what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, man. I mean, always come up with a plan B. All right. You gotta not always put your eggs in one basket. All right. Create your own art, man. Like, cause it's the best time to do it right now. It's one of the best times to start doing it. If you're not creating your own art, then why are you making art for somebody else? I think that's what I have to say to that.
Yeah. If you love it so much, you got to show that you love it. Like there's no way to really stay in this industry. There's no real way to stay in this passion or this in this industry if you're not going to show what you love. If this isn't your passion, then it's not your passion. But that's all I have to say. And with performing live and going to gigs or having gigs, definitely definitely stay on the lookout for that. It could be like they it could be bars reopening, not like to a grand scale, but it could be like, hey, they're having this event, they want to record you and promote your music, or they want you to play live for your music and all that other stuff. Yeah, that's still possible, but definitely keep on the lookout for for the regulations and what they're going to have you do, because if it's not worth the risk, it's not worth the risk. And I I'm again promoting people to stay safe. I'm not out here promoting people to perform just cuz they want to. Like, yeah, I miss performing too, but if it involves a high risk of, the virus and getting the virus, don't do it. But if there's a possibility that that you can stay safe while doing this and you can promote your music in the end, I would say more power to you. But definitely keep on the lookout for that. Keep on the Another way is, if you're a musician or a producer or audio engineer, check the studios that could need people that aren't like, I wouldn't say like a studio that's open quickly, but definitely keep on the lookout for the reopenings as well. See what they're doing. Again, it's like the gigs, but things are starting to come back up, and keep that in mind. Keep talk get it Another way is, get involved with other people. Get involved with people that own studios, that work at studios. Just keep in contact with people, because that's another way to stay in the loop of the industry, and to like ensure yourself that you have an area to work at, because there's no better way than to do that. Like we have we have used social media for good things, and one of those reasons is keeping in contact with people. It could be on LinkedIn, it could be on Indeed, it could even be on Facebook, or it can just be on like stuff like this on Zoom, where you just talk to people, and you can keep in mind of what you can do for them, and you know what they can do for you, and just definitely keep in mind of that. Like, I I know that we're still in. we're still in a big mess of a pandemic, but definitely never stay out of touch. And I'm guilty of that too, but never stay out of touch with people in the industry. That's one way to help you and help you in the future. Even if the pandemic wasn't happening, just stay in touch with people from the industry, because it could actually it could help you in the end, and you could end up um you could end up being a good asset for that studio or that place. And even if you're a musician at a gig, you could be a regular. I know one of my friends is a gig at one of the most famous areas near where I live, and he's a regular there. I think I actually had him. Yeah, I actually had him on the show. I had him on the show last week, but that's another thing. Do you have any other suggestions?
No, not that I can think of, man.
Yeah, just stay in the loop of things, keep in contact with people, and just keep looking around so that when things start to reopen, you can be ready and you can be prepared.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I'm just having some tea, but yeah, just never stop what you're doing. Never don't fret too much either. Yeah, some in some cases the pandemic can get worse, and but it could also get better. It all depends on how you do it. Just people need to stay safe and people need to do the right thing, and just never stay out of the loop, but as long as you're out here staying safe, like I know it's a difficult task. Sometimes sometimes you'll have to compromise and you might have to end up doing a day job for the time being. It'll help you save up and it'll make you it could even have you much more prepared than you were before the pandemic even started. But it's all about using your time wisely and using your money wisely. That's another example of not putting your eggs in one basket. Just use your time wisely. Do, do you have anything else you want to say, Greg?
No, I'm good, man.
All right. Well, guys, thank you again. Don't forget to like the video, comment the video, and subscribe and share with your friends. I will eventually be moving these videos to StreamYard. I am not exactly sure when, but keep on the lookout for that. Guys, I will see you next time. And as always, stay tuned.